Most people never tell you about the quiet shift that happens once you finally have real money set aside. And it's not what people imagine. It's not about fancy cars, big houses, or showing off online. It's something much more subtle, but arguably much more important. Something that completely changes the way you see money, expenses, and risk, ultimately influencing almost every aspect of your life. Before we get into it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you haven't already. There are many other people who need to hear this. Now, think back to when you didn't have much or maybe anything at all invested. Every single purchase felt like a setback. You'd get paid, and maybe for a few days you'd feel like you were catching up. But by the time rent, bills, and groceries were covered, there wasn't much left. Then life would throw something at you. A flat tire, a $50 medical copay, or a random $20 grocery mistake, and suddenly you were frustrated, anxious, and exhausted. It always felt like your money disappeared just as fast as you earned it, and in many ways, it did. That's what it feels like when money is in control, when every expense feels like a problem, because you're constantly operating on the edge. Your entire sense of stability depends on nothing going wrong, and there's no forward momentum working in your favor. But then something changes the moment you start investing. Even if it's only a small amount, maybe a few $1,000s, the dynamic begins to shift. Let's say you've managed to build up $10,000 in investments. It's not rich by any means, but it's real progress. When the stock market moves just 1% in a single day, which happens all the time, your account balance fluctuates by about $100. That means your net worth can change by the cost of a dinner date, a utility bill, or a tank of gas or two, and you didn't do anything. At first, it feels strange. It's almost uncomfortable to realize your money can move that quickly without your permission. But after a while, you get used to it. And that's when the first mental shift happens. The realization that your money can grow and fluctuate completely on its own. You begin to understand that building wealth isn't just about earning and saving. It's about creating something that keeps working even when you're not. Now imagine your portfolio grows to $1 million. A 1% move in the market, which is nothing unusual, means your wealth changes by $10,000 in a single day. At that level, your portfolio can lose $10,000 before lunch and gain it all back by dinner. The first few times you see it, it might make your stomach drop. But eventually, you realize these swings are just noise, part of the rhythm of investing. Now let's scale the fluctuations up further. Imagine a 30% market crash over a few months. With $10,000 invested, that's a $3,000 dip. $100,000 becomes $70,000. $1 million becomes $700,000. At first, that can feel terrifying. You're down the equivalent of a small home or condo. But the mental shift comes when you realize it's still just numbers on a screen. Your wealth is still working for you, and the underlying principles haven't changed. Because of these fluctuations, you have no choice but to think bigger. A $1,500 car repair, a $5,000 HVAC issue, even an unexpected medical bill. These things don't hurt the same way they used to. Not just because you can afford them, but because you've seen your net worth move by that amount or 10 times that amount in a single day. Once you've seen your net worth zigzag up and down, large expenses start to feel different. What once seemed like an astronomical expense that you couldn't recover from is just like another day in the market. Now imagine a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take a vacation with a friend that cost $5,000. That's a lot to spend at once, but in perspective, it's like a single day's movement in your portfolio. It's an expense, yes, but not one that threatens your long-term goals. You start realizing that money's role in your life has fundamentally changed. It's a tool, not a source of stress. That money could be withdrawn from your account, and 1 week later, you wouldn't even notice it gone. Because when your portfolio regularly moves by thousands, those same amounts stop feeling like real setbacks. They're just small fluctuations. Once your wealth reaches a certain size, the market's daily movement becomes larger than most of life's biggest expenses, and that's when perspective changes forever. There's another huge reason unexpected costs stop feeling so painful, and it has to do with where your wealth actually comes from. Let's say your portfolio is worth $500,000. Maybe you only contributed $200,000 of your own money. The rest is profit. That means that more than half of what you have is the result of growth, compounding, and time doing the work for you. So when the market drops by $10,000 or $20,000, it's not really your hard-earned savings disappearing. It's just the market temporarily adjusting the value of the gains your money created. In other words, it doesn't hurt as bad because you didn't personally have to get up, drive to work, stay there for 8 hours, and answer to your boss's menial demands to earn the money. There's a big psychological difference between losing money you worked overtime for and watching a number on a screen temporarily dip, especially when you know that number was built by profits, not paychecks. That's when it really sinks in that you're no longer trading hours for dollars. Your money is generating its own results, and that completely changes how you view loss. In a way, it's similar to the mindset you see in lottery winners, gamblers, or people who inherit their wealth. Because they didn't have to earn it, they don't feel that same emotional attachment. Losing it doesn't hurt as much, which is exactly why so many of them lose it all. That's not to say you're going to lose it all, just that it feels different. The difference is, in your case, that detachment is a strength. You've built your wealth steadily, so you understand it, respect it, and can stay calm when the numbers move. And once you experience that, a strange sense of calm takes over. You realize that you can't control the daily ups and downs of the market, and that's okay. You don't need to. You begin to think in terms of decades, not days. Instead of obsessing over small drops, you're thinking about how your investments will double or triple over time. So when something in life costs a few $100s or even a few thousand, you handle it and move on. You don't lose sleep, you don't spiral, and you don't stress the way you used to, because deep down, you know that your wealth is still compounding in the background. That realization, that quiet sense of control, is what financial peace really feels like. And the best part is, you don't need $1 million to feel this sense of automatic progress. Even if you've only just started, maybe you've got $1,000 or $5,000 invested, that small beginning completely changes your mindset. Because now, even if you spend every dollar from your paycheck, your money is still out there earning for you. The numbers might be small at first, but the feeling is massive. That first spark of realizing your money can grow on its own. It's the start of something that can become much, much bigger over time. And that's when savers become investors. Because the moment you see your money make money, you start realizing that the small things don't have to ruin your entire week anymore. You're no longer asking, how do I save $20? You're asking, how can I grow this $2,000, $20,000, $200,000 so that it turns into something huge? That's the beginning of a completely different mindset. One where you're no longer playing defense, you're playing offense. And this is the part most people get wrong. They think financial freedom is about being able to buy whatever they want, but that's not it at all. True financial freedom is when small things stop mattering, when unexpected costs don't throw off your goals because you know your foundation is strong. It's when you can make choices calmly, without fear, when you can take a vacation or replace a car or handle a medical bill without it feeling like a crisis. That's the real luxury, not the car or the watch, but the absence of financial stress. You start to see everything in broader terms. You know that a $1,000 swing in your portfolio means nothing in the grand scheme. You know that a $1,000 expense this month won't matter at all next year. You realize that wealth isn't built or destroyed in a single day. It's built through consistency, time, and patience. The ups don't make you euphoric, and the downs don't make you panic. You've zoomed out far enough to see the full picture. And at some point, everything flips. You stop chasing money, and money starts chasing opportunity. Saving every penny fades into the background because the real power comes from growing and protecting your capital. A portfolio of $250,000, $500,000, or $1 million compounding consistently will do far more for your future than another $500 in savings ever could. You've built a system that grows automatically whether you're working, sleeping, or taking time off. It's not that wealthy people don't bother to save money when it's within their control, but rather they stop worrying about things that are beyond their control. So when people say that money changes you, this is what they really mean. It doesn't change your personality, it changes your perspective. The real flex isn't buying things or showing off wealth. It's being so financially stable that when something breaks, you just fix it and move on. It's having the foresight to know that bad days in the market are inevitable, and they don't define your future. It's realizing that the same numbers that once stressed you out now barely register because your wealth has grown beyond them. And that's when you finally understand. Financial freedom isn't about how much you can spend, it's about how little you have to worry.